Aloha, welcome, welcome. This is going to be a fantastic time together. We're going to have some nice conversation and learn a little bit about credit score and, how your credit score can help you and assist you in your move to Oahu. So my name is Jody Muse. I am the principal broker of Fathom Realty here on Hawaii. I'm also the owner and administrator of the Moving to Oahu group. So we are putting this together specially for you moving to Oahu folks. With me, I have Suzanne West, she is a senior loan officer with PRMG, and you'll get to hear from her. And then also we have Tiffany Cross, and Tiffany is the executive vice president of national sales of Credival, right?
Yes, Credival. Thank you so much for
Credival.
having me.
Excellent. Well, I'm very, very excited to have both of these experts on this call. These ladies both have a huge heart for helping folks, learn about credit score and also how your credit score can help or hinder you. And I'm not going to say too much because this is their area of expertise, but want to get right to it. I would love to kind of start off with Suze, if you don't mind, to maybe give us a brief overview of your credit score and how it does affect your purchasing ability and rent ability, especially here on Oahu.
Yes, absolutely. Credit scores and what is on your credit report is so important. And many families and people, when they move to Oahu, whether they're looking to buy or to rent, are sometimes very surprised on how their credit score can be different from what's actually being reported on their credit report versus, say, a Credit Karma or what's on their Bank of America FICO alert. And many families will come here and find out that their credit score is maybe less than 640. And on Oahu, the rental environment is highly competitive. And then they find that they have no place to rent. So that's a very important thing to consider when planning in advance your move here. And when it comes to finding the right financing for buying a home, in May of last year, the credit score guidelines kind of changed a little bit. It used to be that a 740 FICO or higher got you into the best tier of interest rates that could be provided. But since that update, there's two more additional tiers. So if you're thinking of moving here and buying here, I would say the sooner you start working on your credit scores, that you will be able to have the best loan programs and interest rates available to you based on your needs. And it's never too soon to start that process. As Tiffany will share, 4-6 months lead time is not a bad thing to start doing.
Excellent. And thank you, Suze. I know a lot of times many folks feel like, they're too far out to start having this conversation. So good to know that, it is a conversation you want to have up front. And Tiffany, I'd like to ask you, I think, and Suze kind of alluded to it in terms of the credit score guidelines and what folks used to think or maybe think credit score is for a certain number they have to have. But would you be willing to share some of the misconceptions people have about credit?
Well, we don't have enough time to go through all of them, but I will hit on a few. And I just want to mention, and I am so grateful for this opportunity, but I think the messaging for us today collectively, for all that are curious, is that you don't have to accept that you have bad credit. It is not a prison sentence. Although in many cases it can feel that way, right? We read guidelines that things stay on your credit for 7 years if you do nothing, right? But it doesn't have to be a part of your identity to just say, okay, well, I guess I don't get to become a homeowner, or it's not for me because I've had unfortunate life events that truly are not an indication of character. So I just want to start by, I think that's the biggest misconception, is that people sort of just get used to being told no. And the three of us have come together with a like-minded heart for service in that we don't say no, right? It's all about creating a way forward for everyone who wants to be a homeowner. And the three of us are definitely aligned in that we want to create a way, right? And there is a way. So that's the first misconception. But more specific to actual credit, right? The fundamentals of credit. What are some I guess, things that people think that are often incorrect? Susan basically said one of them, right? That all credit sources are the same. Credit Karma is not the same, right? We know that it's not the same as mortgage lending score. Also, too, I think sometimes people think that in order to have a really good score, you have to have high income, or that only people with credit, credit challenged clients are low to moderate income. That can be true, but it doesn't always have to be. So we find oftentimes that consumers that go through divorce or illness or unexpected job loss or frankly COVID, they don't always, necessarily fall into the bucket of low to moderate income consumers. So that's another misconception. The other thing that I will mention, I could go on and on, is that, checking your credit hurts your credit. It does if done incorrectly. So this is why it's so incredibly important that you partner with the right lenders, right? There's very few lenders that can actually pull a soft pull report for qualifying. And I'll let Sue speak to that, but she's amazing. And part of the reason why we're so joined at the hip is that everything is completely aligned in what's good for the consumer. And so PRMG, I think, is one of the only companies that's able to do that. And I might be saying that incorrectly, but I'm going to throw it out there. But there's good ways and bad ways to look at your credit profile. And we want to make sure that consumers know that there is a safe place to go to look at their score without, hitting their credit.
Love it. Okay, already you've gotten your money's worth already out of this. Thanks, Tiffany. So you kind of touched on it, people not understanding maybe that, bad credit is something they don't have to live with. What are some things that you could share with us that people may do thinking they're helping their credit that may not really be helping their credit?
Great question. And I know that this comes up probably 200 times a day with our nonprofit HUD counselors when they're talking to consumers. First and foremost, consumers will think I've got to pay off my credit cards and then I got to close these accounts because I can't handle the temptation. Or frankly, I don't want to ever see a bill in the mail again from Capital One or whatever that would look like, right? And we know that the FICO score is designed in 5 components. And unfortunately, for now, at least under this system that we all live and die by, being FICO, consumers need to really be educated on how to use credit to their advantage. It isn't always the right thing to pay off an account, just like it's almost never the right thing to close an account. So closing accounts, not necessarily a great idea, especially if you're trying to increase your score in the planning process for becoming a homeowner. I also would say meet with your credit expert, meet with your mortgage lender, because quite frankly, we'll run scenarios to tell you what to pay your credit cards to maximize your FICO score improvement. Although we know it's not ever good to be maxed out on credit cards, I feel like sometimes there's a delicate dance that consumers have to learn as far as how can I use my credit cards to rapidly improve my score. And unfortunately, common sense and FICO sense don't always play well in the sandbox together when it comes to the scores and how they're calculated.
Interesting. So there's an actual strategy to it. So get with the professionals that know and understand this thing and work with this every day. Right, Tiffany?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I will mention too that, stay a little bit cognizant of the fact that Google and TikTok and some of the resources that are so easily accessible may not always have the actual credit hacks that you're seeing. I've seen people say, well, you could do a credit sweep, or you can do all of these terms with any amount of research you'll find out are illegal activities that are not going to work long term, and frankly unnecessary, right? The score can easily adjust upward by taking ethical and long-term steps and strategies so that you can learn good habits and also have them be long-standing results and not just short-term quick fixes.
Which leads me to my next question. How does Credivolve help with getting your credit ready? And that might be a long question.
Yeah, that's my favorite question. So ordinarily what happens is that we typically have the cart before the horse, right? As a consumer, you're out looking at your dream home or your dream rental, whether, it be one or the other. And you pull credit and find out, oh boy, I'm 40 points away or I'm 100 points away. And there's that just level of discouragement that happens. And, it doesn't need to be that way. And so the first step for a consumer is to just refer themselves for a free consultation. The consultations are done with nonprofit HUD approved counselors. Now, I say that because it's not the for-profit credit repair entities that you'll see online that, frankly, could care less about your goals, to just want to keep you in a program for the rest of your life, charging you money. This is extremely ethical, very compliant. And again, it's a free consultation, and they will do a deep dive with you, looking at your overall credit scenario. What types of credit do you have? What needs to be done to adjust that FICO score? Is it settling collections? Well, if that's the case, we need to show you how to do it in a way that will increase quickly the FICO score. So there's so many, moving pieces to what a consultation would look like, but it's a free, no obligation first step. From there, you'll be assigned a credit coach if you do decide to move forward. And I like to say it's very similar to joining a gym and having a trainer. You're going to get love whether you like it or not. You're going to meet with your coach once a month. That's going to hold you accountable if there was some action steps that were required on your end, like perhaps opening a new credit card because you lack positive trade line history. Whatever that step is, you're going to meet with your coach. The coach will do 95% of the work for you, but will do it with you so that you're educated along the way. The goal is education, right? We want to make sure that you reach your goal, but that you're educated how to keep and maintain it moving forward. But it's a month-to-month program. I'll tell you, to give those out there some hope, I'll tell you, we typically only have to work with a client anywhere from 3 to 5 months. It is not a heavy lift. This is not the rest of your life. So if you plan on buying a home in the next 6 months, now's the time to hit the go button on that free consultation. So you at least know what that roadmap looks very specific to you. And then we race across the finish line together, and you and Suze get to help clients meet their goals, and it's a win-win for everybody.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, I mean, if you haven't, I'm just gonna like take a side note and speak to you folks. If you haven't taken a look into your credit, man, this is fantastic. I mean, I wish I would have known about this 20 years ago when I was, thinking, oh, just open up credit cards and start spending. So, but with that, let me switch to Suze for a moment. And Suze, because you're the lender in the conversation. So how do you and Credit Evolve work together?
Well, the wonderful thing about Credit Evolve and PRMG and me working together is we have full transparency from the beginning. After chatting with the client and finding out what their desired goal is, what loan program they more than likely will qualify for, and what score is needed, we share that with Tiffany and her team at Credit Evolve. And so all along the process, we will communicate on what progress, what steps are being taken, how long it will take to get to that goal score that we're looking for. So all together, let me start from the beginning. Will you Stefan will edit it from there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we can
Okay.
edit. But yeah, what you said was great, but we can start over. So we'll pause
I'll
this
just
back.
start. Yeah. How Credit Evolve and I at PRMG work is after our initial consultation, we'll determine what loan program more than likely you can qualify for to buy. And then what is the credit score that is needed to get to that loan program? And we share that with Tiffany and her team at Credit Evolve. And we will communicate all along the way the steps that are being made or need to be made. So when we hit that desired goal, we know that we're ready to go.
Okay, so coming from the real estate seat, because I'm on the real estate position of this call, a lot of times I'm having conversations with folks and they're saying, hey, we're a year out. Isn't it too soon for us to start having those conversations? So Susan, your opinion, at what stage in this process should someone get the credit conversation started?
I think they should start immediately, even if it is a year out. You never know what the credit challenge that we need to overcome. And if we start early enough, then we can have them prepared at that time to move forward. Because you just never know what is on someone's credit report. There could be something that needs to be aged off that may take 6 to 7 months, or it could be something that only takes 3 to 4 months. And with PRMG as Tiffany was sharing, we can do a soft credit pool. So if we are serious in buying a home and qualifying today, we can even do a soft credit pool, which does not impact your credit score. It keeps your credit inquiry private, so you're not inundated by a bunch of cold calling companies that are pretending to be PRMG or pretending to take where your application was left off. It's all done very privately. And that way, if you are not ready yet today with a soft credit pool, then when you are ready, we would do a hard credit pool.
Got it. Okay. So another conversation I hear all the time and comes up, on a very regular basis is, well, we're not sure if we're going to buy or rent. Many times folks say we want to just get to the island and kind of feel it out and see what areas we like, and then we'll think about purchasing. However, I would love it if you can share with, everybody maybe why, when you're renting, it's still a conversation that needs to be had.
Absolutely, because Oahu is a very highly competitive rental market. We have many people who initially just desire to live here for 6 months. They're not looking to live here a long time. So if your goal is to live here a long time, you're competing with people who are just looking to have a short little life experience doing the Oahu living or island living. And so you want to make sure that your credit score is high, at least 640 or higher, because the competition here is pretty fierce and there's only so many rentals. So if your desire is to rent for a little bit and get to know the neighborhoods, because maybe you don't know them, and find your ideal neighborhood or type of home that you're looking for, it is best just to do a loan application or start the soft credit pool or start the conversation with Tiffany to know where your credit score is long before you come here. So you're not scrambling to find a place to live because your credit score really isn't where it needs to be.
Okay, perfect. So that leads me right into the next question as to what is the next step? Where do we go from here?
I think the next step, logically, if someone is looking and they just know immediately they're going to rent, they should probably reach out to Tiffany directly for her expertise. If your goal is to buy, let's start the conversation. Let's get to know each other. Let's get to know what your goal is, what your challenges are, and what loan program will best fit your needs once you arrive, so you can purchase and you know that you've met the credit score requirements. We know we've met your down payment goal as well. There are so many loan programs to consider that it would be best to just connect with me immediately so we can get you pre-approved for the right loan program, or get you connected with Tiffany so when you do arrive, you're ready to go again.
Perfect. So regardless whether you're buying, renting, the conversation is one that you want to get started right away. So Tiffany, anything else that, you feel maybe something you want to share as we wrap this up and share with folks how the next step would be for them to individually reach out. But anything else you feel that we missed or you would like to share?
No, I think we've covered it, but again, my heart is just to serve the consumer. I just am such a bulldog advocate, because when consumers have credit challenges, and there's always a story, right? We all have our own unique credit fingerprint. And I just encourage consumers to really do their due diligence and partner with a nonprofit HUD counseling solution. The worst feeling in the world is to be taken advantage of by what I call bad actors in any industry, but specific to your credit coach or your company that you're working with. You got to feel really good about who that is. So I'm just thrilled that we offer such an incredible program, frankly. And I just want to mention that, Hawaii is probably the next place on my bucket list that I would like to move. So I'm jealous of anyone who actually gets to do that. But nonetheless, we're here. The next step, of course, is a free consultation, and it would be truly an honor to be able to provide a free consultation for anyone that has that shared goal.
So Tiffany, is this a program that would be nationwide? So let's say, because sometimes people do have a dream or a hope or a desire or a job that they're moving to Hawaii, and then plans change as they do, and maybe they aren't going to end up in Hawaii. But is this something that would work no matter what state nationwide that they're in?
Absolutely. We work with clients in all 50 states. Our HUD counselors are located all across the nation. And I will say we do work with a lot of military, right? A lot of military that are moving in, moving out, moving, changing things up. Even out of country, we have some active duty military in Japan, Okinawa, Japan, that will schedule complimentary consultations. And of course, we accommodate their time zone. So if you're alive on this planet, we will help you. So yes, we can accommodate.
And I just got to say, I hope that you feel all three of our hearts in this conversation, and that we truly are here just to serve and to help you find what best fits your needs. But I love that we have, and Tiffany, forgive me if I'm saying this wrong, but a credit expert on this call who genuinely cares and wants to help you. And that is she is just in this short conversation made it a topic that we don't need to be scared about and we don't need to avoid. It's something that we can take control of and use, to the best of our abilities to help serve us in what we need going forward. So thank you. And Suze, as always, will uncover every single rock she has to make sure you get taken care of. So we will be posting contact information. So feel free to reach out, at whatever level you want to start, whether it's Suze, Tiffany, myself through direct message. We are a team and we're here to help you and help you get the answers you need.